Good morning. Good morning. I tell you, today is my birthday. Look at this. It says happy birthday. It doesn't say Sandy on there, but I am Sandy Winborn, and this is my birthday. The day that Lily and Johnny had a baby girl. And she came in at 3 pounds and 1 ounce. Now, I went way up now. I'm going to tell you, weight-wise, I went way up. They started feeding me too much too soon, and I ended up being a big woman for many years, and then finally the Lord blessed me that I could come on down and be of what I would call more normal weight. But it is my birthday, and they said when I was born that people used to carry me around in a cup, then that sounds crazy, but it said it was like a styrofoam type cup. Good morning, Volta. And so that made it where being so little, I stayed in the hospital, I think they said when I was born for 2 months. So I was extremely little, and I was born in the 50s. And so, obviously in the 50s, they don't have the kind of technology that they have now. And I was considered a preemie. I was a preemie. And they never covered up my eyes, so that's why I have my affliction of only having one eye. I have just peripheral vision in my left eye. But I want to say good morning anyway. It's my birthday. Today we're going to talk about birth, not my birth. We're done with that. I'm blessed that I got to see another year, hoping that it gives me the years blessed to my mother and my grandmother and my aunt. My mother was almost 95, my grandmother 96, and my dad's side, my auntie, his sister, was 104. So if I am granted with such wonderfulness, I am going to be so excited, because that means I have many more years to be able to tell you some things about being stuck. Because the longer you live, the more you realize that you're going to get into some stuff and you're going to have to get out of some stuff. So I certainly say good morning, good morning, good morning. And I'm going to ask that question. Are you stuck? Yes, we are all stuck. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, anybody else that I kind of missed when I was running through that. But, I have some good stuff this morning, and I really wanted to talk about just the idea of birth. What is birth? Because we can be born of our mother and fathers. We can be born again through our Christianity and our faith. But then we can be born. We can be born to after quarantine, to after marriage, to after, divorce, till after children, till after. We can be born again. And so I'm not using it in the religious sense, so please do not get that mixed up. Although I do hope that most people realize that, you would have those births, But I'm going to start with this poem I found. And this poem was written by India Babalapati. I finally got it right. And she wrote it at 12. It's real short, but real dynamically good. And it says, nobody tells us where they go. Nobody tells us where they come from. In darkness we live and die. That's heavy right there. Because basically this young lady at 12 years old, and I think it was because she lost a sister, and she decided to write this poem because she didn't know what happened to people when they left this world, but she didn't understand how they got into this world. And so that's us. This poem was written as if it was for birth as well as for death. And we don't know. We don't know all the things that we're supposed to do while we're here, but we have questions. We have questions. And so her question was, well, where did they come and where did they go and how's that happen? And so, but it says in darkness we live and we die, and we do. We will live in our darkness and we will die in darkness. We came alone, we're going to leave alone. But anyway, that's my first poem. The next poem is by Lucille Clifton, and she was born in 1936 and passed away in 2010. And it says, won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life, I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between the starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Is that not good? You know, it's so funny that what the Lord is doing for me, you know, as putting my skills to work, giving what God has given me out there to others. And I'm excited. And I was listening this morning on the TV as I was getting dressed, and it was talking about Oprah's getting ready to start, you know, an inspirational class for people after quarantine. And isn't this what I'm doing? I'm doing it before Oprah. I don't have a big crowd. I don't have any money. But guess what? If God has laid it on your heart to do something, go ahead and do it. You know, go into your gifts, go into your multiple intelligences and find out something that you can do and do it. Don't ask questions. Don't ask if anybody can do something for you. And we're going to get into that in a minute. See what you can do for yourself and by yourself. It would be absolutely wonderful once you discover all the gifts that you have. The painting that you could be doing, the singing that you could be doing, the writing that you could be doing, doing this kind of stuff, presentations, teaching. I think more people have found out that they were teachers since they've been forced to teach their own children than before. Ever before. They never thought that. One, they said they didn't have the patience, but generally we try to have patience with our own children. So therefore, that may be the reveal, the unveiling of our other talent, just by the fact that we've been forced into needing to do something else that is beyond ourselves, that is beyond what we've been doing before, that really goes deeper into our forward. We didn't know. So anyway, today we have a couple of good things. We're going to talk about birth. Yes, and I'm doing it as just the fact that it is my birthday. So I decided I was going to deal with some things that dealt with how birth comes about. The first, for the B of birth, is bravery. Being cautious, being, basically, certain, what I would call characteristically sound. You're going to go ahead. You're going to fight the battle. You're fearless. You're going to be ahead of everybody else. You can lead. You have backbone. And then I saw this, pardon me, it says you have balls. You have the audacity to step forward. You have valor. You have a spine. Your boldness. Your assertiveness. Your confrontational frame. All those things talks about your bravery. Are you brave? We'll come back to that. The next one talks about independence. Are you independent? Do you have independence? Are you independent of others? And it says the fact of being independent, meaning you don't need anybody else. And what this pandemic has done is revealed to us, at least some of us, that we like to be with people, or we can also enjoy being by ourselves, or we really prefer being by ourselves. We just never did it, And so that talks about, are you self-governed? Are you self-determinated? It says, do you have freedom? Because to be independent, you must be freed. You cannot be living on somebody else telling you to go forward and it's time to retreat. You can't be with somebody that's going to tell you to come to the left and you need to go right. So you have to decide what road you're on. It talks about your liberty. The fact that you can be liberated by just realizing your own freedom. Your own independence is freeing. It talks about self-rule, not, him rule, her rule, they rule. What do you rule over? What could it be? And it talks about self-support and self-reliance. And I've said self a lot because independent means self. It's going to stand alone. Not saying that it may not consult, but the consultation does not override what the self can determine to be right for them, for you. That would be totally independent. The next word is resilient. It says a person able to withstand or recover quickly from a difficult, condition or difficult illness, whatever it is. Good morning, T. So it really talks about how you deal with being difficult, how you deal with difficult, areas in your life. Can you recoil fast? Can you realign? Can you straighten up? Can you figure out what's next? Some people don't. They fall. First thing that happens, they fall apart. They've been told that a family member, the one that might be the kingpin or queen pin, they're losing their battle with cancer or something. They fall apart. That's when you need to rev up, where you need to have some resilience. And so it talks about, can you spring back into shape after being bent or stretched? Can you do it? Can you do it? Sometimes it's very difficult to do, but sometimes that's when it's most needed, is when it's required of you. And sometimes we never know what's in our bag of, I won't even say tricks, our bag of goodies. Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, Rhonda, my niece. You can't even realize what's in you until you're faced with it. And so what I'm saying to you is, wow, can you imagine? Can you imagine that you didn't know you could do something? I give an example. When my father died, I was only, I think I might have been just having turned 16. And, it was devastating because I was really close to my dad, real close, to the point where I could tell him something. And, even though he had had his first stroke, he could laugh so hard. And I could still always hear him calling my name. And he would just fall out laughing until tears were coming with what we would be talking about. And I would just be so elated with that. And then it ended up that he passed. He had a second stroke. And my dad was really young. My dad might have been, I think he might have been 52 years old, 51, 52 years old. Back then you never knew their real age. So anyway, he passed on, and my mother just was devastated. She was just absolutely, because my dad had been like a rock. My dad adored my mother. Diamonds and, perfume and clothes and trips and whatever she wanted, she had it. My mother, she could hold her ground. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman. And my dad adored that about her. Good morning, Vanessa. So my dad did things that always made her feel appreciated. And sometimes, ladies and gents, it's good to appreciate who you're with. Doesn't matter. Man, woman, show them appreciation. Acknowledge them. Recognize the good. Recognize the hard work. Recognize the fact that they selected you. Now, sometimes with family, you don't always select them. But if you can show them love, then most of the time they're going to come around and kind of straighten up and align right. But anyway, I understood that it was required of me to step up to the plate. My brothers and sisters were less able to do that. But anything my mother needed done, I did it. And sometimes she never had to ask. And she was like amazed. She said, wow, my youngest kid here helping out. My youngest kid here doing all this stuff. Well, all the other kids were gone. Most of them were married or in the service or something. So by this time, everybody was doing their own thing. So it required that I stepped up to the plate. So I know what that resilience was. Back then, I know what resilience is now. I faced my own cancer. I faced, just looking at life differently after becoming a widow at a young age. So I repeated what my mom was dealt. being widowed at a young age, that means you raised your children the rest of their lives by yourself. And so you have to understand, and divorce will do that too, or relationships that have just gone south, gone sour. Okay. You just have to find out, where is your resilience? What else can you do that's going to keep the train on the track, that's going to keep the bus on the road, that's going to keep your heart, maybe troubled at times and your head troubled at times, but nonetheless, your resilience will keep you centered and keep you going forward. And that's what most people do when they're faced with things that might be extremely difficult to deal with. The next area I'm going to talk about in this word of birth is tranquility. And tranquility is the quality or the state of being tranquil, being calm. Are you calm? Don't know. And it talks about your peace. Tranquility gives you peace. It gives you a stillness, that you don't even know exists, because the world is so busy. There's so much noise. And I probably already told you this, but I will always repeat it, is that when I was getting my doctorate, the only music that could work for me was Mozart's music, because it was quiet, it was soothing, and for some reason it allowed me to get in touch with what I needed to do in terms of higher thinking, higher understanding, and then higher ability to write what I needed to write. But yes, tranquility is peace, stillness are my best friends. Mine too. It says also, it could also be your repose. It could be your serenity. It could be your silence. It could be your absolute still. No movement. Quiet. Very, very soothing. And for people that will allow themselves to get into that space, find out how productive you will be. Find out where your creativity comes from at that point. Because if you have a lot of noise going on, or a lot of things in your head, and the TV, the radio, the kids, the noise outside, and then everybody talking, those are not tranquil periods. But if you find it, like there's nothing on in my house right now, nothing. I can just hear a little bit of my refrigerator. That's it. Nothing. And so it really says to me that I enjoy tranquilness. I enjoy tranquility. I enjoy being peaceful. I enjoy being still, being quiet. It's okay. If you go down in that goodie bag, I guarantee you're going to bring out something if you're by yourself and you're just in a position to write, to view something, like being outside, like the people that are the naturalists for the multiple intelligence areas. If you're a naturalist, you love outside. And you can go outside and sit and listen to the birds and the bees. Not the wrong kind of noise, but that could be the right kind of noise that calms you. Just gives you peace, gives you joy. If you're a person that just loves to write, you may, or a painter, you could go to the beach and just pull out your book, or pull out your paints and your easel and your screen, and you start writing. Good morning, Trisha. So it really talks to, what do you want to do with this time of peace? To me, this time of quarantine gives everybody a time to find their own peace, to find their own tranquility, their own stillness, their own quietness, their own repose, their own serenity. It means I give it up. I give it up to the stillness in my life right now. I love it. I'm enjoying it. And the last one for the word H of birth would be health. It's the state of being free from any illness or injury. But it also talks about your physical health, your psychological health, and also your philosophical health. Because right now we're just in a world of junk on TV. There's so much junk. And to me, what I used to call it is minutia in my head. I have too much up there, too much going on. I don't need it. And so I end up realizing what I don't need for the purpose of moving forward. And so I'm not just looking at my physical health. I'm also looking out for my mental health, my emotional health, my psychological health, which means it went further into to being disturbing, and then also my philosophical health. How am I, what's going on that may be affecting me? Now you need to know something about what's going on in the news, but you don't need to be so engrossed that basically it has you just in front of the TV. You need to move on. Turn the TV off. Put on some soothing music, some tranquil music. Maybe in fact, I think there's one online called Tranquil, or if you have Sirius or you have Pandora, you can find very calm music to soothe you. But those are the areas of birth, which talks about the bravery, their independence, the resilience, the tranquility, and health. All those form birth. For me, it talks about how I can live better if I deal with all of those things. Being able to make my own decisions, being able to realize I might have to stand up for some stuff that I haven't stood up before on, being able to look at my resilience going forward despite what the conditions are, realizing that tranquility gives me my peace in between me going out there to fight. And the last thing talks about how am I dealing health-wise, head-wise, heart-wise, my physicality, what can I do, okay? And am I free of any injuries? And that could be physical, emotional, it could be psychological, whatever, okay? Those are all the things that talk about our birth. And this is all in celebration of my birthday, which is today, for those who might have come in late. So good morning, Sharon. So we want to just talk about the fact that we have some questions, and I hope you have some paper and pen. My first question today from May 13th, 2020 is, how brave are you? Where is your bravery? What and who have you needed to be brave for, or have you fought against? Okay? That could be your Goliath. Who have you fought against? Did you have to find a rock? Did you have to find something that just made sense to you that I had to go after it? Wasn't going to let him talk about me anymore. Wasn't going to let him do these things to me anymore. Women that have been in abusive relationships and had to leave, or men, because men are in abusive relationships too. Okay? Was it physical? Was it emotional? Was it mental? What was it? But have you had to fight some battles? And who have you fought for or against? Where was your bravery? Where is your bravery? And if you're not brave, write it down. Say, that's something I need to go search for. Write it down. Write it down. Our second question, are you an independent thinker? Do you have independence? Do you know what it is to make your own decisions? Do you ask advice and then that's the only thing you use? Or do you ask advice and really look at what is good for you? That would be good. That would be good to address your situation. Because as soon as something goes wrong, guess what? Good morning, David. That's my boyfriend right there coming on. As soon as something goes wrong, you want to blame the other person. Well, if you let them make a decision for you, then guess what? That's your problem. It's not theirs. It's yours. Own it. Own it. Own who you decided to follow instead of following your own thoughts, your own thinking, your own way forward. And it's always good to get advice, from wise people. But if you know that their advice isn't that wise and you've had experience with them in the past and it's shown up to not be true, then they're not the wise one you should go to. You need to go someplace else. The next one talks about how resilient are you? This is our next question. How quickly can you recover from a difficult condition? Be it that somebody's ill, be it that you're ill, be it that, it's a mindset problem, being that you didn't get a promotion. Are you still going to go in bitter? Be it that somebody left you, but you want to stalk them. Come on now. Let them go. Let them go. Wherever they're going. Don't follow them. It's not worth it. It's not worth the agony, because the longer you hold on, the less you are detached. If you let it go, guess what? Detachment will come and eventually you'll find your way. But to recoil and find that resilience, that's a great thing. So if you're not resilient, write it down. If you are resilient, indicate a situation where you found your resilience, where things were so bad, but you still found a way. You know, you still found somebody that later on could say, wow, he really turned that thing around. And, you know, life will do that for you if you give it a chance. And you can go to, you know, like you can go to your prayer, room in your house. You can go on your knees at night, whatever you want to do, okay, to get through what you have to get through. But you get through it. You will. You will if you put forth the effort. The other thing says, how calm are you? How calm is your life? Where is your tranquility? Who is your tranquility in? Is it in yourself, or do you rely on other people to set the mood, set the tone? Can you find peace? Like, I used to love just driving to work, because that was my time for my one and upness with God. It was also a time for me to just chill out, because I knew my day was going to be full. It was going to be busy, because I ran a program that had, national and international requirements. So I needed to be on point. I didn't need to be in the rear. And I still ran hard, because when I got there was probably something disturbing there, but I still had to find my balance. That's us. We have to find our balance no matter what is going on. We have to find our peace. We have to find our tranquility. We have to find our way out of the forest and the noisiness that we live in. And the last one is health. Do you know your health? Your record? Do you know? Do you know if anything's going on? Are you a person who never goes to the doctor? Because doctors are needed, okay? Because we are going to have some stuff that we can't fix at home. Not everything can be fixed from grandma's remedy that she used to give you. Some things will. Some things will, because I know back in the day, my mother said, oh, I need to put she'd go in the kitchen and make something up. And I hate it to this day. You cannot give me castor oil. For years, I could not drink orange juice because Lily was in the kitchen mixing castor oil with orange juice. And she said, you have to take this. This is for your own good. This is going to get you right. Well, it made me mad, and other things to happen too. But anyway, do you wait and not go to the doctor? Or do you go to doctor? Do you go to doctor? When something is wrong, you should go to doctor, especially if it's persistent, especially if it's not going away. Those are cues. For me, I can honestly say that when I had my bout with cancer, I kept going back to the doctor, and they kept telling me, oh, there's nothing wrong. My body was telling me there was something wrong. What you mean nothing's wrong? So I kept coming back, and then finally, once they did the biopsy, my doctor told me, he said, if it hadn't been for you being persistent, this would have just gone on. And you would have still ended up, it would have gone to a stage. I was almost a stage 2. And he said it would have gone on to maybe a 3 or 4 stage cancer. You have to be your advocate. You have to be your own person. If something is wrong, man, if you're on here, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Something's wrong, because that's how we end up. By the time we present, we're beyond, them helping us much. And then the procedures that they do are more harsh to the body. So I didn't need to take anything such as, good morning, Lawson. I didn't have to take radiation or anything like that, but it certainly was a wake-up call for me to tell them, y'all need to do more, because I know something's wrong. So you have to be your advocate for your own health. So anyway, those are my questions for the day. I'm getting ready to go back over them. I tried to make sure for the people that came in a little later that I at least go back over what I went over the first time, to just let you know that I take this really seriously. I act like, I might be a professor or something, and I'm not. I'm just Sandy. He gave me a few skills from the man upstairs, and I used them. But my will for today was just to talk about birth. Yes, it's my birthday, but I'm not staying there. I'm going to talk about this first poem that I had today, and it's by Indira Babalapati. I finally got it right this time. And she wrote it at the age of 12 years old. It says, nobody tells us where they go. Nobody tells us where they come from. In darkness we live and we die. Can you imagine a 12-year-old coming up with that? But it's so true. We come in darkness, we die in darkness. We live and we die, and it's dark. But the thing is in between we're living, and we're living right now. And so we should enjoy, all that life has to give us. I don't want to leave this world and haven't touched on many things, only because I know I've never heard of anybody coming back except the man upstairs, his son. So I don't feel I'm coming back. I don't have that afterlife kind of re-entry, coming back as a cat or something else. It ain't going to happen for me. Somebody else may believe that way, but that's how I feel. So based on that, it just suggests to me that I need to enjoy every opportunity down here that I can to say that I lived until I die. And I'm hoping that you are looking at life the same way, that you will live until you leave up out of here and enjoy every moment with in every way you want to do it. No excuses. No excuses. Just enjoy life. So this one is by Lucille Clifton, this poem. And she was born in 1936 and died in 2010. And it says, won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. That's good stuff right there. That is good stuff. The fact that this is our lives that we're living. And the fact is that no one wrote a blueprint. No one gave us any instructions. Our mothers didn't have instructions. They went by what their mothers told them. We try to do the best we can for our kids. And sometimes the material that we're working with isn't as easy to work with as if, some other people may be dealing with. And we have to own up to that. We have to own up to that. And so we have to do and give ourselves credit for doing the best we can at those we birth, those we love on the side, all of those kinds of things. So that's how we must deal with our lives. And so when we get down to the actual word of birth, we're going to start with the B. And the B is bravery. Where is your bravery? Bravery obviously is the courage. It's a behavior of a character. It's how you hold yourself. It's what you're doing. It's where you want to go. Good morning, Bill. It's where you want to go. It's the audacity to be who you are. Good morning, Ganelle. It's who you are. It's your backbone. It's your spine. It's pardon my expression, but it's your balls. It's what you stand on. It's your boldness. It's your daring to be yourself. It's your character. It's your nerve. And it is your fearlessness. All those things talk about your bravery. I know you got it. I got it. I'm boldly out here today deciding that I'm going to teach a course. Look, this is my master class, not Oprah's. I don't have Oprah's money, but I'm just saying. I'd love for Oprah to know about who I am. Just as an individual that gives. I have no money, but I would give of my time. I would give of my occasionally, my money. It's only a little bit now. Don't ask more than $1. But I can help you out every now and then. And then we want to talk about independence. Are you independent? It's the fact of being independent. You don't need anybody else. You can go it alone. But if you have to do it with somebody else, you can. And you will. until it talks about, are you self-governed? Are you self-determined, terminated? Do you have autonomy? Do you have your freedom? Because they said to be independent is to be freed. That is how you behave. It's your liberty. It's your self-rule. It's your self-reliance. And it's your self-support. All of those things. Good morning, Marion. And all of those things talk about you as being independent. Independently, you. No excuses, no apologies. You are just you. I don't want to do that. That's you. I ain't going there. That's you. Maybe tomorrow. That's you. Maybe not. That's you. Okay? I'm talking about getting back down into our basement. When we talk about our birth means is that we got a newness coming on, because birth is new. So we're coming with it. Okay, the next thing we talk about in the word of birth is resilient. Are you a resilient person? Can you talk about the fact that you face some things that you've had to recover from more quickly than what you would have liked to do, but you did it anyway. You did it anyway. And so that says that you know how to recoil. You know how to spring back from being bent and twisted and pulled apart and upheavaled. All of those things talks about your resilience. How can you handle things? What are those things? What have you faced? Write that down. All these are the questions I'm giving you. Y'all should have a pretty good book, and I'm hoping you have one of these. They only cost $1 at the dollar store, the little composition book. So worth the money, but more worth the effort. If you put the effort in, I'm telling you, you might have your own book done. How I became how I used to, how I now do. That's all you. That would be your resilience, your independence, and your bravery if you stepped out on it. Then we want to talk about your tranquility. The tranquility, obviously, is a state of being tranquil, being calm. How calm are you? How at peace are you? Are you at peace at who you are? And this opportunity right now says a lot about the fact that there's limited people around. In your peace, are you peaceful? Good question. Are you quiet? Can you enjoy the quietness? Do you enjoy silence? Do you like stillness? Can you find your serenity? And of course, your repose. All of those things speak to, tranquility, finding your own. This time right now, where you can hear the birds and the bees, or you can hear something else going on in your house. But the point is that you find it. You find it. And the last thing we have on here is your health. What is the state of your health? Do you know it? Have you been to the doctor? I know right now it's hard to even get to the doctor, hard to get an appointment. And no one wants to go out because they're not sure what they may find, because people that go to the hospital are sick. You just questioning the fact of you being sick. So when quarantine is over and nothing has come up during this period of time, and you haven't had your yearly checkup, get your yearly checkup. Get your yearly checkup. And if you're a person that's having trouble emotionally, mentally, then I certainly recommend that you find a counselor, find somebody. And now they're doing a lot of things virtually, so you can find it. You can really find out those things. And the last thing is on our questions is do all of those things. Look at how brave you are. Where is it? Where's your bravery? Find your independence. Look at being resilient. Certainly seek out your tranquility. And lastly, take care of your health. It's been a great day. It is my birthday. I worked to do all of this last night. And I train. I won't train. Listen, I prepare to work with you every single day. I do not take it lightly, because even when I was a regular counselor, I found great excitement and being prepared to do whatever I do for anyone that comes into the space that I'm in, be it as a counseling setting, be it as a group setting, it doesn't matter. So I take this very seriously. So even though I stayed up last night to take care of you this morning, I'm going to take off the rest of the day. And I'm going to say I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to look at not worrying about anything or anybody. I'm going to find my peace. I'm going to find my bravery not to go out into the world and feel I got to buy up something, even though they're telling me that food is higher. So good thing I eat less food. But anyway, you all enjoy your day and have a slice of my virtual cake. I want you to enjoy some of the virtual cake today. In fact, you can have as much of it as you want, okay? And look, brush your teeth after eating it, okay? I love you. I appreciate everyone that comes into the space with me. And look, please hit share. Please go back and hit share on this. And I will finish writing up some other stuff in this, the post above the video. And I love you. And today was my pink day, including the glasses. And I just want you to be blessed, be tranquil, be brave, be healthy, and really look at being and finding your own independence. Have a great day. Bye-bye.